Hey guys, how's it going? It's Nick from The Creed here, and welcome to Assassin's Creed The Leak. This is the series where you will get all the leaked information right here on my channel. It will be easy and formatted into different episodes so you can watch whatever you want, when you want. I'm going to start off with an overview of all the leaked information for Assassin's Creed Empire, and then later I will go deeper in depth. So, without further ado, let's get into the first episode. Let's start off with the original leak posted on 4chan. And this is written by a self-proclaimed Ubisoft developer that is working on Assassin's Creed Empire. So he says, Egypt. There won't be an AC in 2016. We may screen cap this and refer to it when nothing is shown at E3 2016. You'll have to wait until 2017 for it. The reason? It will be a complete revamp of the series. The game is going for a Witcher feel with player progression, free-form combat system. Horses back and boats too. It's made by the Black Flag team. You may leave any questions you want answered. Okay, so that's interesting. Like that's the basic leak that everyone knew about. But the interesting thing is down in the questions, because that's where the details of the game is revealed. So he mentioned that horses back and boats too. And then he's more precise down in the questions, and he says that it's not naval combat. It's just a means of navigation, and some of the boats have interiors you can enter for quests. So what this says to me is that it's not going to be huge oceans or seas or anything like that. There's going to be rivers, small, maybe some big rivers, maybe the Nile, and you can cross the river, go from point A to point B, go faster down or upstream or something like that, just to move around a little bit quicker, sort of like in The Witcher. So I think that could be really interesting. There will maybe be some boat combat, but not with cannons, but maybe you can swim out, climb up on a boat, and then assassin someone or something like that. But moving on, another one is, he says, ancient Egypt. They want the least amount of historical documentation to get freedom. The story is set before the Assassins and Templars even existed. This is basically a prequel to all Assassin's Creeds. Interesting. Really interesting. If it's set before the Assassins and Templars, is this the story of how the Assassins were founded? Interesting. He continues with, this one has a lot more story than any of the rest. Going back to ancient Egypt means they can do whatever they want without historical accuracy to hold them back. And I think this is good, because what's been the problem in Syndicate and Unity, I think those two are really the only ones. Maybe Assassin's Creed 3 with the American Revolution, but I wouldn't count that in. But it's getting too modern. We have too much documentation. They can't do whatever they want. That person existed. They did this and this. You can't really go or make them do something completely different, because people will react to that. And although Assassin's Creed isn't realistic game in that sort of setting, they still want to keep one foot in reality, so it's still relatable. So this is good. I like this. But this is where, to me at least, the leak doesn't really make sense, because he says the world is about 3 times the size of Black Flag. Unlike Black Flag, you don't have to load cities. Everything is seamless. Think Black Flag, not much to climb outside of villages. So if it's going to be like Black Flag, there's not going to be a lot of big cities, or there's not going to be great, huge cities like we've seen in Unity and Syndicate now. But they're going back to like the smaller villages thing, with maybe a couple big cities like in Black Flag, and actually sort of Assassin's Creed 3. So there's maybe going to be like a frontier that was in Assassin's Creed 3, only bigger and with multiple cities, but it's seamless, so you don't have to load them in. So that's very good. But he says 3 times the size of Black Flag. Is he even aware of how big the world in Assassin's Creed Black Flag is? Because it's massive. The world map in itself is, and this is according to the in-game measurement of a meter, it's 233,840 square kilometers. That's 233,000 square kilometers. That's huge. And comparing that to Syndicate, which has the biggest dense city in an Assassin's Creed game yet, it is a whopping 3,750 square kilometers. So that makes it about 230,000 square kilometers smaller than Black Flag. So if it's going to be 3 times as big, it's going to be over 700,000 square kilometers, and I doubt that. I really do. But let's see. If it is, amazing, but I think even that's actually a little too big, and I don't really think they can do that seamlessly. But then again, we'll see. But let's move on. He also says that the biggest difference about this one is how colorful it looks. Like, holy fuck. Blue skies, lush vegetations, and desert sequences where you get mirage and shit. Also, you have a pet eagle you can control. And this is where I also think that some of this leak, or maybe this leak, isn't real. Because if he was a developer, why would he talk like that? But then again, he is presenting it on 4chan and not an official interview. So, of course, this could be how he writes in his personal time and to his friends and girlfriend. I don't know. But okay, it sounds good, like a colorful, lush Assassin's Creed. It sounds like the Black Flag team, definitely, because they made Black Flag, and that was colorful, beautiful, and all that. So, definitely, could be a thing. But the pet eagle, scrap it, don't need it, don't want it. Moving on. No, the world is made from scratch, he says. No recycling, the only recycling is animation, and even then, this one will change most of it. As far as recycling goes, this next one will have the least amounts of it. So he's saying that they're going to start from scratch, and I think that was a decision made after Unity. Maybe they started working on this game, designing it, and working on the story, and after Unity they thought, okay, scrap it, we need to start all over, make a new game, and so on. So I believe they're doing this. I think that this will be a great way to try to revive the series and get it back to where it was before. So definitely, making things from scratch, making a new game, I'm all for it. The next one here is who we are controlling back in the day, like back in ancient Egypt. Who's the ancestor assassin, or even if he is assassin, I don't know. It says that you play as a slave or ex-slave. He looks a lot like Altair, but with a darker skin. Makes sense, he's in Egypt. He is not edgy, from my understanding. He's a nobody that barely speaks. Then again, that doesn't sound... We got Connor. But that doesn't sound like a protagonist to me, a good protagonist. I hope that if this developer is really working at Ubisoft, maybe he's not working at the game. And it does sound like he's pissed in some way. Maybe he was fired. If he's even real. But I don't think this is going to be the main protagonist, because this will not catch on at all. But I'm going to talk about that later in another video. And on the next one here, he answers a question about if they're going to China and Japan ever. And he says, none of that in the working place. Honestly, there's no fucking talk about and other nonsense at work. The media blows this shit way out of proportions. So basically, no China and Japan for years. Basically, that's what he means. And lastly, here he added this point by himself, this wasn't a question. He just added this. He says, "Oh, by the way, online co-op is completely cut from the series for the time being. Not sure if it ever will come back, to be honest." So this doesn't bother me. I didn't like the co-op. It was a little bit fun in Unity, but it was so buggy and it didn't really work. And you also had the multiplayer or the online experience. It didn't really fit with me either. So If they can perfect this in some way, then sure, bring it back. But if not, just keep it out of the series. It's fine by me. Concentrate on making the best game possible. So, this doesn't bother me. Okay, so we got through the whole thing. I just want to say thank you for paying attention and following me through one of the biggest leak, or definitely the biggest leak on Assassin's Creed Empire yet. I just want to clarify, I don't know if this is real. The only ones that can confirm this are Ubisoft, and they will never confirm this, or at least not yet. I just feel like it's important to say that so you don't believe that I know what's going to happen, because I don't. But there's, it has some evidence that this, to it, that it seems something that could happen. It seems relevant and plausible, I guess. But it's also a few elements that that makes me think again a couple of times. So take it for what you will. This has been all the information from me. As I said earlier, this will become a series. If you want to prioritize one topic, then leave a comment and I'll try to make that as fast as possible. But anyway, I'm Nick. You've been watching The Creed, and until the next time, bye.